Experts say that arts in general can be a source for comfort, strength, connectivity, perspective, and even health and healing, particularly during very difficult times. But of course, many of our local art staples like performing arts and culinary arts cannot be enjoyed from packed theaters, restaurants, or other gatherings because of COVID-19 restrictions. Well, we want to explore on this show how visual arts in and around Southern Nevada can fill some of these voids. Also, we'll discuss why visual art matters in larger COVID, racial injustice, and political divide conversations. And finally, where does visual art fit into larger discussions on sustainability and diversification during very tough economic times? We're talking about visual art. The human interaction portion of this is still very, very important. The social interaction portion is very, very important. Let's talk about maybe the art itself and maybe the personal connections, the human connections you might make to the art itself here.
Well, I see visual art as a one-on-one event or happening where the artist is making something, making a statement or communicating something, and then the viewer comes to it with a certain understanding, a certain experience level, and they see something that resonates with them. Ideally, it's with the actual art, one-on-one with the art. There are a few spaces that are open in Las Vegas, but the next best thing, I think, is the virtual experience. I'm at the university at the Donna Beam Gallery, and we've put together 2 virtual exhibitions, one dealing with, the title is Justice, dealing with the problems and social ills that have been happening, and the other one is called 6 Feet of Art, as opposed to 6 feet apart. And they were open calls to the university community and anyone really who wanted to enter. And so we got quite a range of work that dealt with those two questions. And so the artist has something to say, and the viewer has something to learn or something to see. So it's a communication between the two. There may be something that I didn't notice before or didn't realize, or that's how I'm thinking about things. So there's some sort of interaction that happens, either in person or virtually, if we, that's what we have to work with. So anyway.
And I'm going to come back to both of those issues, talking about racial injustice and, of course, COVID in general, and how art could potentially address some of those areas, explore some of the personal connections there related to those two issues. And there's a lot that we've been talking about of how visual arts can play many different roles, many multifaceted different roles here. And we decided to go and talk to one artist in particular, and also an instructor at UNLV, Frederick Bonin Pizarro, who is displaying some of his artwork at a local gallery. Let's take a look.
Art is one of the most powerful instruments humans possess. It amplifies voices across the ages. It transcends borders and skin colors and political divides.
If you want to bring people together, you should talk about what people share, not how they're different.
Painter Frederick Bonin Pizarro creates positive images addressing our connectivity in a conflicted world.
The way I work, ideas come to me. I'm not cerebral in the terms that I'm not a concept artist. Mine is abstract, meaning, and figurative abstract, meaning that when you look at my paintings, you can tell what it is. Okay, that's a profile, that's a face, that's a group of people, that's a skull, but it's not realistic. I'm not trying to copy. I'm trying to express something different.
And he uses a variety of materials to express himself on the canvas.
It's like the recipe for the fried chicken. I don't want to say. There's a bunch of secret in there. A lot of processes, a lot of layers.
Starting on March 5th at 6 p.m., 22 of Bonin Pizarro's paintings will be on display and up for sale at the Priscilla Fowler Art Gallery in Las Vegas's Arts District.
It's going to be the body of work I created during the pandemic, treating with questions like speech, communication, togetherness. Few paintings about death, but in a good way, not necessarily I mean, in our culture, this is seen as something negative. I see it as just a step.
In addition to being a world-renowned artist, Frederick Bonin-Pissarro is also an arts instructor at UNLV.
I give students a place where they can feel safe to be themselves, to express themselves without being judged, and to sometimes really find out who they really are. So it's not only it's a discovery with the media, with the work, but with yourself.
Discovering oneself is an important step towards relating to others and the uncertain world around us. For Nevada Week, I'm Heather Caputo.
Sharing more of our similarities and our differences, such a big part of this conversation, particularly when, as we've already touched upon a little bit, the racial injustice conversation, some of the protests we've had over the last 10 months as well. But in addition to that, our political divide is something we haven't talked about. And of course, we've seen that in our recent elections. We're maybe divided politically more so than we ever have been before. And I wanted to go to that, Jerry. Let's talk about those exhibits that you have yourself and how those kinds of things are being expressed, particularly that sharing of how more we are connected than we are different.
That's really important, that connection, because that's what we're missing right now, I think, is trying to connect with one another. And that's something the visual arts can do, like that one-on-one experience where I go and I see something and I have an empathy or a sympathetic response to it, or I understand. I feel your pain. I have a better connection with what's happening when I can see it through another person's eyes, how they're responding to it. This one exhibition that we did, a virtual exhibition, Justice, we got a wide range of work in that show, and it's available online through the Donna Beam website. And I don't know, it fulfilled a desire to connect with someone, just to be able to understand through their eyes what they see, and for me to maybe expand what I'm thinking or what I'm feeling or how I respond to a situation, as to, I don't know, just broadening my viewpoint.
Well, thank you, as always, for joining us this week on Nevada Week. Now, for any of the resources that we've discussed on this show, please visit our website at vegaspbs.org/Nevada-Week. You can also always find us on social media at Nevada Week. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.